All right, it is a Wednesday. I don't know what the date is because we're in quarantine and everything is all the same, but I do know it's Wednesday because it says so in the top right corner, and we are on another Masters of Marketing. I'm here with Ross Gates, Jody Kong, and Mr. Michael. How you guys doing?
Great to be here. I'm pretty sure it's still March or something like that, right?
April? No, it's
I don't know.
May. Oh, what is, now we got to figure out actually what date it
It's May
is.
13th, but let's not worry about that. Let's just keep going.
I'm really worried about it, Ross. Ross, I'm really worried about it. So today we're going to talk about my favorite subject, something that you don't know anything about. It's about user optimization in user interviews. I know that you hate user interviews, Ross. I know that you cannot stand them, but it results in a good UI and a good conversion rate optimization. And I know that you just can't stand talking to users. It's like you think you like worked in a design consultancy is like we design it or something like that. What was it called?
It's called Design It. No, we. That's like the Facebook. They dropped the It was pretty obvious.
Ah, wasn't it
Um,
like but we Cooper? No, it was Cooper Pro. No, it was we it. No?
I don't know. We go by many names. It's pretty much whatever you want to call yourself. I made up my job title for all two job titles, the three job titles that I had there because you could really do whatever you wanted. But yeah, talking to users. Why would we want to talk to users? That's
Users
crazy. It's not like they're
smell.
going to tell us exactly what they want or, some shared common language or anything like that.
They will tell you their problems, but they will not tell you. Can you see the screen over here?
Yep.
Awesome. I was listening to David Matthews Band because I'm old and I was reminiscing. Anyways, I'm going to start off today. It's all inspired by this new guy that I think is really interesting. He's a young buck on the scene. He's been popping up on my feeds all over the place. I saw him in one of these, like, shout out to LinkedIn Growth Hackers. Lots of little cool tool tips and tricks on there. If you want to find little hacks on how to improve your LinkedIn game, you can jump on there. And I think this is where I found him. This guy's name's Harry Dry. Okay, he's the founder of MarketingExamples.com, and this is a wickedly rad site. Like, seriously, like I have not seen a site like this and examples like this that are so thoughtful, clear-minded. The amount of clarity that this child has. He's not a child. He's a young man, but he's a young person that has really good clarity on what good examples of good marketing examples are. We're going to scroll through a little bit of his feed, right? So, and he gives quantitative examples of how when you understand your audience, that you can really convert them and make them better. You don't even have to talk to them. You can just test. I like doing that. I don't like talking to people. I like putting things out there and saying, hey, this is what you want. And people come back to me and go, no, that's not what I want. In this example, we could start to go and break down just his examples and take up the whole entire show. We won't do that because that maybe we should at some point in time, but this is kind of interesting. It's like when you have a face of the artist combined with the picture, people care. When you just have the picture, it's it's like a robot drew it. I'm not attached to it. I don't have a feeling of that. You can
Exactly.
you can
You
see
don't
the
know that it's
engagement.
actually real, but with that person there, you know that it's in the real world as opposed to just CGI. It shows
Yeah.
that effort was put into it.
Yeah. And she's a person and she has thoughts and feelings and she's not a robot. So we care. Right. And so he goes through these marketing examples. This is one of the first ones that I saw that I thought was like super duper interesting. And let's see, we got somebody in the chat popping
Michael
up in
says,
this.
what if she printed that? Well,
What
then it's false advertising, but still good marketing, apparently.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good example of like somebody repurposing kind of content. He didn't say, Apple didn't say, hey, this is the world's first digital media player. They put the benefits, right? You don't talk about features, you talk about benefits. 1,000 songs in your pocket, right? Like your favorite 1,000 songs in the direct exact order of your favorite way to listen to them right in your pocket. Like they did a lot of different things, and it's amazing when you kind of start to break down it's the same exact thing, right? These are the same, these are both true statements, but one resonates and one doesn't. And this is what CRO is all about. uh, conversion rate optimization, CRO. Where I first learned about CRO, or the term CRO, was really interesting as well. It was on this place called Online Geniuses. Now, I love this channel. It's kind of like there's like 20,000 people now, so it's like a little bit crazy and like oversaturated. But what you could go to Online Geniuses, you can apply, you can hop right in, and guess what? They have a channel all dedicated to CRO. And if you're nice and you start talking to people there, they'll help break down your page and do it for you, right? So essentially, what you have is a whole community of people with engagement every single day talking about CRO. And look at this. Look who's popping up here in this feed. This was not even prepared, but my good buddy here, Harry Dry, this dude is killing it right now. So I'd follow him on LinkedIn. I'm following him. He's got some really good examples. It's a good reminder on a daily basis about how you should check your content in CRO and marketingexamples.com. So marketingexamples.com has a lot of a fluff. But I would say if you want the distilled gems, you can kind of look into his feed of posts. And we're going to share this after the fact and get that fed to you. So Ross, you don't have any experience with CRO. So what do you think about this?
Well, I don't really have experience with CRO, but are you talking about this specific example, or are you talking about
Like just design in general? You don't have any experience about that or user interviews or anything like that. So what do you think
Yeah,
about
of course.
this?
I don't have experience with that. I mean, the thing that comes to mind is the conversation I had yesterday where you say 1,000 songs in your pocket and people are going, well, that's an easy example because everyone knows exactly what they want when they're listening to music. But I had a conversation yesterday with a guy about, how you want data imported into a CRM if you have a Marketo instance and you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. And I went in thinking that people use their CRM in one way, and I came out with an experienced guy who'd been helping a bunch of companies, realizing that all the things I thought were problems weren't really even top of his mind. And the 5 problems that he had, I'd never even thought about before.
Okay, I gotta, we shouldn't keep our audience hanging. Like, dive into it. What were the problems that you thought people had?
I thought that when you're a Marketo company or you're using a large CRM, you're constantly looking for streams of new data. And so it's useful to be approached by people, new data vendors, and constantly have a new playbook. And what I found was when you are at a level where you actually have Marketo, you're probably spending $100,000 a year or a month on that. And so you're a large enough company that you've already gotten a playbook down. You already know where the data is coming from. So you're not even thinking about data really at that point anymore on the acquisition side. You're thinking about it on the signal side. You're thinking about, now that I know everyone in my total addressable market, how do I find the right signals to know it's the right time to have my sales team reach out to them? How do I do progressive profiling so that I have them fill out more and more information on different articles they read so that I can learn more about them? And how can I track them through my website? So it's not so much getting the data as quantifying when the right time to reach out to someone is.
So you want to automate your marketing when you figured out what of your marketing works, and then you want to scale it and automate it because the technique and the artistry has already been figured out. You've already found marketing, product, channel fit, right? Now you just want to automate it. It makes a lot of sense in its definition.
Right. Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. But I was thinking of Marketo companies as smaller companies. And because they're so large, they're kind of a different category. Whereas I learned from him, someone who's using something like HubSpot, which is a cheaper CRM, probably hasn't figured out the whole solution. And it's probably a better indicator that they're still looking for the types of data that I was looking to discuss.
That's awesome. Okay, let's get back to Harry Dry. What we did was went through a significant example of why you need to do user interviews and UI so you can speak a common language. I mean, Eden in our last episode, like 2-3 days ago, was talking about the archaeology and really digging down and getting the user interviews and living the life of your target audience to really understand their problems. All right. So Harry Dry looks like he was born in 1996. Harry Dry 1996 at gmail.com. This was brought to you by the Little Black Book. It's one of our tools. It goes up and pops up and gets the contact information for any contact that you want to find on LinkedIn. Reach out to Harry Dry at LinkedIn/Harry Dry, or there's his email, and we connected not too long ago because he's freaking killing it. Okay, but let's go back to a little bit more dated. We're gonna take a reverse here in history. Reverse in history. Time leap back. All right, we got good UI. Now this has been a mainstay. This has been a rock This has been since the mobile days. 10 years ago, I used to go to Good UI for the way that you should build particular UI for mobile experiences, right? So scroll, swipe, tap. This is some of the stuff that they started with back when I was using Balsamic to do wireframe mockups, right? So it looks like they turned a lot of their content to paid, but I really like some of their other patterns. And over the years, I used to come here for mobile, but let's see like a pricing page. Let's go to a pricing page, right? View pattern tests. Let's see what this is all about. Got it. Cool. And so it doesn't matter like what you're talking about. In Good UI, they have an example, right? If you've talked about a list layout, if you talk about a pricing page, they have different tests and case studies, and you can like, shallow sales versus deep revenue, like how performant the different pages are based upon the different layouts, right? So do you want to put it on the left-hand side? Do you want to see progressive left to right indication of like the more features and how many more features? Should you always have, one of the main things that I've learned over the years on pricing pages is that you should always have an odd number of choices, right? You don't want it like even like one or two choices. You need 3 to 5 choices. So if you're going to go 4, don't go 4, go 5. And then people generally go for the middle one. So when your premium, like, oh, I don't know if I need all that. And people are like, oh, I don't want to be cheap for the low one. So whatever, if you have 3 to 5 choices, most pricing pages are going to have 3 choices on it. And then we can start to look at like the different leaks. This is my favorite part. So leaks are basically in this page tests that they monitored. So they monitor a couple hundred different websites on how they do their CRO. And let's go into Netflix. Keeps the older price comparison and rejects the new layout in this A/B test. So what you're really going to go here for when you're talking about Good UI is like, I need to build a pricing page. Okay, cool. I'll build a pricing page. Well, go to Good UI. You get inspired. You think about your audience. What do they know beforehand? What do they know afterhand? How many pages have they looked at? How much data and context? Where does the sale occur? Right. When you're at a pricing page, they've kind of like they're either two thoughts when they hit a pricing page. One, they're kicking tires. They want to like, how much is this thing? I don't actually need it right now, but I want to know for the future how much this thing is, right? And if you don't have any prices at all, you're like, wow, they're going to sell me and they're going to try to squeeze as much money out of me as possible. Yeah, that's lame. I like to see prices on a page, so I know relatively how much I'm going to spend or how much budget I'm going to need for something like this. If you don't show pricing, you're generally going to have a sales team, and then I'm going to have to sit through a demo, and then they're going to hassle me, and the salesperson's going to make me feel bad for not buying their product, even if I need it or don't need it. And they're like, oh, I gotta hit my quarter. I'm like, dude, I just wanted to kick the tires and understand, is this $100,000 a year or is this $1,000 a year? Now that we know and understand companies, and we've broke it down by winning by design in the past, we know that if it's not $1,000 a month or more, that they can't have salespeople. So if they're a good company, you know that if they don't have pricing on their page, it's probably $1,000 a month or more, because otherwise they can't have a sales team. So you don't even need to go to a pricing page. And if you don't see any prices on the page, you know it's $1,000 a month or more. Could be different if it's like not a non-US company, but if it's a US company, it's going to be $1,000 a month or more if you don't see the price or enterprise or custom, right? Because that's what the minimum viable sale is. Okay, so let's look at this breakdown. They did an A/B test in November 2019. And what they were trying to do was put the premium up top, they had the standard in the middle and the basic. And the first thing I could see on the right versus the left, Ross, what are your thoughts?
It's harder to read. The left, that side, is much easier to just scroll your eyes down a single column and see these are all the features. Let me pick the feature that I care about. The one on the right, I see 4, 2, 1, but I don't immediately be like, 4 of what? What are you even talking about right now?
Right. So they're saying 4K HD SD. So they're really selling on the 4Ks, like it's going to be even screen or depth. Now, what I would say, first thing I see on the left versus the right, when I see the right hand side, I think mobile, right? So maybe more people are
Mm.
purchasing or hitting the device screen on mobile. Of course, the left hand side I would look at, I think desktop. What I don't see here is the breakdown or delineation between the two different device screens, right? So is this mobile that kind of slipped into the desktop view by accident? They said, well, it's doing well on mobile, so let's slip it into the desktop. Or and because I don't see that, and as you can see the breakdown of the bottom footer is, it's they're comparing desktop to desktop. Now I'm like, this one on the right actually may be better on mobile. You want more of a card interface. This scroll left and right scrolling on mobile is not as good. So if you're generating a ton of traffic, the right hand side may actually work. But what do I know? I'm not Netflix. I haven't done this before. Netflix is testing millions of transactions, and so I'm guessing that they know better than me. But that's one thing the first question I would ask, right? Is this all desktop only? Left-hand sense makes total sense. It's a common layout, left to right, more features, simultaneous watching users, continuation, et cetera, et cetera. Cool. And it makes a ton of sense. So as you go out and you look at the different patterns on Good UI, when you have a problem or you're stuck or you're having a little bit of a brain fart in terms of like, what am I going to do for pricing, for pop-up, for personalization, for layout, for buttons, et cetera, et cetera. It's a great resource that you can continuously come and learn and just sit here for hours scrolling through.
So you said that leaks are comparisons and just A/B tests, but there's a whole nother tab for leaks. So can you describe what their leaks actually are? Are these tests that weren't supposed to be shown to the public and they're leaked? Or is that just a name they came up with?
Leaks are things that they found in comparison out in the world when they had two different pages, when
At the
they're just
same time.
automatically crawling. Yeah. And so there's a test going on, right? For Etsy, for Amazon. I really like this one. This Try It Now. So they had a couple different versions of Start Now, Learn More, Try It Now. Try It Now wins out by itself, no other options. And then the other one that worked really well was this one. This Try It Now with an email capture was the one that they found that they best. Oh, we got a joke from the audience. If there's no prices, they may not have added billing yet. Well, Michael, that's only in our world, on our pages. It's got to shuffle in people for free to see if they want it yet. Okay, cool. So I really like this form. Try It Now. I think is a great. There's like Learn More, Get Started. There's a lot of buttons that have been tested. I think the Try It Now is, and the size of the button matters. If you make the button too big, people press on it less. It doesn't look like it doesn't feel like a button anymore. I thought that was interesting in one of their leaks. But this was the layout that kind of most fits and a lot of the stuff that we do. And I really like the Try It Now, meaning not try it later. Try it. It's like not a buy my product. No, it's try it now. You can try it. You can try it, Ross.
It's risk-free. What does risk-free mean? I don't know, but it's risk-free.
Mm-hmm. And they found that capturing the email with the Try It Now was better than just the Try It Now alone. And I think they're still testing it right now because I went and looked and it had just the Try It Now button. But depending upon, this is all also dependent upon where the traffic is coming in from. Is it coming from an ad campaign? Is it coming from a blog link? Is it coming from, a particular campaign and referral? Your flows and your optimizations are actually going to be different, right? So the other thing is too, is like, Try It Now, you might find a whole bunch of freebie people, right? So your channel and your marketing channel is being successful, but your long-term downstream revenue may not be great. And I've seen this time and time again. Okay. Yeah, we could spend the rest of the time on this Good UI Lynx. It's goodui.org. The one I like in particular is Lynx. They got a bunch of data stories and reviews and whatever you're trying to do, there's a handbook. They got 50 different things on how you can do your landing page optimization, actionable idea. They go through and break down different websites as their content of how they can become better. And I think they just do an amazing job overall. They really, really know what they're talking about, and they sell courses associated with it. Cool. Moving on. If you need something more textual and you're not more a visual person and you want to read this basic list, you have this conversionchecklist.org conversion checklist, 41-point checklist. Ross, what do you know about 41 points?
Nothing.
It's not 42 points. It's not 40 points. It's 41. Once again, they're putting an odd number. You don't put 40 points. You don't put 48 points. You always put an odd number in your listicles. The conversion rate is better. Or 10. 10 always works too. But if you get into the higher numbers, you want to stay odd because you're like, whoa, they cut off at 41, not 43 for a reason. They're not bullshitting me with bullshit reasons. 41, they didn't ran out of reasons. It's a lot. So I'd go 10 or I'd go odd. Tricks your brain.
Is that just from experience, or is that something that you've actually done yourself? Like when I see 41, I'm like, cool, they have 40 and they have one bonus one. Is 43 as good as 41?
That bonus is going to be great. Oh, they moved to 6? Oh, I think it might be just normal screen sizes. Oh, wow. Look at that. They used to be 3 and 5. Now they're 3. They go to 4. And they go to 6. Wow. This comes back from the Pinterest days when Pinterest first launched and we were doing testing on some websites, e-commerce sites. I'm surprised that they're even again. But we did some testing on 2, 4, and we found 3 and 5 columns work best. I've not been to Pinterest in a very long time. So it's been about 10 years. What do I know? Pinterest probably knows better than I do. But odd is dissonance and even is alignment. So you want to use even numbers when it's something that is like prepared and packaged and consumable, like 10, right? 8, 4, 2. Like, oh, it feels more, the feeling of an even number in kind of like number psychology is like, it feels more edible and packaged and like there's no reasons like and also if you get into pricing theory, it's like when a number is like a whole number and not like $99.99, like when it's $100, it feels like a premium product. It feels whole, right? And so when you get into odd numbers, you're like your brain has to, it's a little bit of more cognitive overhead. So you just like the Amazonians have 3 numbers, 1, 2, and many, right? Like when you put an odd number on a page like 41, it just feels like many, right? You can't really like divide 41. It's probably a prime number. Like it just feels like a weird number. And if you want to do like a weird cognitive dissonance number, a prime number is always good to use too, because you can't really divide it by anything. You can't really figure out its ratio. And like, there you go. Like,
along those lines, it seems more raw. Like you were saying, even is more refined. 41 is raw. Like they found all of the possible solutions and they had to end at 41. They didn't give up at 40 because they thought they had enough. They wanted to exhaust everything.
Yeah. And so even in your like numerology, 41 is a prime number. They're good buckets of numbers to use. Prime numbers are good when you don't want ratios, when you want to make it feel like it's a lot, but not overwhelming. Maybe in their testing, they thought, okay, we had 40 good things and added one, like you said, or if they would have gone more into 70, it's like, oh, it's overwhelming, right? So sometimes there's like, what is the feeling? And you can find that out just from your gut instinct and that everything. Or, Ross, what can we do? Ask somebody.
Yes, sure. That was very open-ended. I was like, okay, we're becoming a math podcast. What should I say that's math related? I could bring up calculus, but I decided
calculus.
Not
to. My landlord was like, hey, can you give me the dimensions of the pool so I can calculate the volume of the water? I was like,
your landlord said that?
Yeah.
In your pool, like 3 squiggly circles?
Yeah, dude. I was like, this is weird. You got to calculate that thing yourself, bro. All right. So I found 2 more. This one, what I think is interesting too, which is kind of less done, and less of tested in science, is that we live in a very movement animated world. And so there's this thing around a good front engineer and a good designer, and we use Figma, and Figma is great. But what's the one thing that Figma doesn't have that would be awesome?
That's a very open-ended question. It has a lot of things that are awesome.
Yeah, but it doesn't have something that Figma's very static. It's all these static pages. It's like page. Like one
There's
of the
no way to
things,
test it and interact with it.
right?
Have something expand.
Yeah, Figma's great, but Envision's cool for the interaction, right? So when you want inspiration on these things, there's a thing called UI movement. So when your designer is designing and you get flat designs, sometimes it's really good to say, okay, what happens when I hit the button? What's the hover? Like, in a good front end developer will be able to fill in those gaps. They'll be able to, how long does it take for that drop down to open up? Is it a half a second? Is it like a third of a second? If it's too fast, it feels glitchy. And if it's too long, it feels slow. So there's a speed at which that these buttons and moves and these accordions kind of interact that you have to time and literally just click around and feel it. And that's what a good front end developer will do, or a good designer will do. There's really not a lot of good tools to do that. So that's why I like this other one called UI movement, which very, very mobile centric, but at the same time, it gives you a lot of feeling around that. Like, that feels good. Like, yeah, just even looking at that coupon app right now, how it slides and scrolls, it has the tiniest little delay, it rolls in. The animation designs is something that's highly overlooked. Now, because all the moving animations will burn your CPU, get a modern GPU, get a modern game, CRO and gaming. Okay, so here's the thing about animations. Animations, the more animations you have, is the more that you're feeding somebody through a discovery, right? So you don't want a ton of animations when you want somebody right through a funnel and to take one particular action. A lot of animations are not helpful, right? Animations are when you want to drive and move people through different dashboards and different experiences and get people to feel like they're being entertained, and finally they discover what they want. Scroll, swipe, tap, boom, they figured out what they want. So we're going to go into the complete opposite of animations in our next example, and it has to do with UI, and it has to do with leaks and all of the above, which is this 43 proven ways to increase your website conversion rates. This book is a CRO book about CRO, and the way that their site is done is very, very good. So what is this? Okay, first off, I'm going to CRO this page. I thought this was really good, but I thought this was a button to make more money, right? Send me the free ebook. So I'm actually a little bit peeved. This should at least jump down to this part of the form, but I really like how big this button is. Send me the free ebook, right? Action, name, email address, send me the free ebook. Checkpoints, waiting for you inside. For me, it's all focused on me. I don't care about you. I don't care about your feelings. I want what's in it for me. The pages of this groundbreaking book. Groundbreaking, you know, exclamation of how good the book is. Like check marks. Ooh, I like check marks. It feels good, right? But he has only got 4 check marks. I want 3 or 5 check marks. Also, got some little bold in here, got some underlines. It's capturing my attention. And once again, reiterate the CTA, the call to action, send me the free ebook. So the only thing I don't like about this page is that this button at the top isn't clickable, because then I would slide down to here, slide down to there. All right. So to recap, when you are in a discovery mode, right, animations are great. So you want to scroll through, you want to flow through things. When you want to capture somebody into an optimization and convert them, linear experiences, you can create animations to move them to the next experience if it's a multiple step form. I think Typeform does that amazingly. And I'm going to and that's all I got. I got two more things, but they're just for fun.
Show us, Brian. What's for fun?
Okay, so I just signed up for this techtracker.io thing, which I think is really cool. We're talking about a tent the other day. We're talking about Marketo, HubSpot, maybe ActiveCampaign, figuring out people that need the data to run their marketing automation machines and shoot leads out, targets out, like missiles coming out of their marketing automation because they already have their content prepared and they're just shooting out. And guess what I found in here? We found Mr. Active Campaign. Boom, boom. So I bought it, and I bought a list of the 5,000 or 10,000 active campaign different places, or 15,000, right? That's right. And you can build a leads list. And so here's targets for us so we can shoot leads out of. So that's one campaign that we're going to run. We're going to go after active campaign. We're going to go after the HubSpots, right? They got a lot of good technology going on, a lot of technographics. So we can start to target these technographics. If you want to become a $6 billion company, all you have to do is get 215,000 companies to use your website and use your marketing automation. Then you're worth $6 billion. That's with a B, not with an M.
Not with a T?
No.
Okay. We'll get there.
All right. And finally, I just think this is cool. Like, this is a free product. It's called Pearly. It is never missed a dental checkup again. You can use your phone, turn it around on your teeth, shine a light in, and check your teeth. See these pearly whites? They're not that white. I got to get some whitening. If you guys know any good bleach things, like email me, put it in the links in the comments below. I'll check it out.
Sensodyne, send us free stuff.
Yeah, if you got some, an affiliate link, I'll take that too. I don't care as long as it works. If it doesn't work, I'm going to put you on blast and tell people not to trust you. But this thing is cool, right? Like, you take your camera of your phone, you start to take pictures of your teeth, and it shows you like how clean your teeth are and like how white they are, right? Using machine learning. Who needs people? Who needs doctors? All you need now is just to look like her.
And she doesn't need this app.
Who even needs a mirror anymore? You can just go like this on your own. And that's it. I'm going to end it this way. Thank you again for another Masters of Marketing. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.